Hello everyone, welcome to 100 days 100 DBA tool script series. We are at day 3 and myself Ravi Shekhar. So without wasting any time, directly jump into this session. So the main agenda of this session is why PowerPlan matters for SQL Server and what is CPU throttling, and we'll take one real use case, and also we'll talk about this Test-DbaPowerPlan command and the syntax, how we need to use this command, and try to understanding the output, what it returns. If we want to run the same command for multiple servers, how we can execute it, and when we need to run this command, and whether it is safe or not for the production system. And when we execute it, so what if the result come as fail or false, and why this is a DBA quick win. We'll discuss all these things in this session. So here, why PowerPlan matters for SQL servers. So as you all know, SQL Server is heavily dependent on the CPU and memory performance, and Windows PowerPlan will control the CPU frequency and throttling. It's not our mistake. So as part of build team or the infra team or systems team, whenever we requested the VM, so they'll create and they'll hand over for further, right? So it is our responsibility to check the Windows PowerPlan. Okay. So the wrong PowerPlan will silently degrades the SQL performance, and it's a misconfiguration in the production system. So what is CPU throttling? In a very brief, CPU doesn't run at maximum frequency which is currently assigned to the system. So the balanced power plan, it will reduces the CPU under load, and at the same time, if it is in balanced mode, SQL queries will take longer than the expected. Even if you tune the query, if you optimize the query, still the issue can't be fixed. For example, if we take any scenario from the real use case, so if you recently migrated the new SQL Server, or if you build a new VM for migration perspective and the migration is completed. So now CPU usage looks normal in all the monitoring tools, and even if you see in the task manager, everything is very normal. So application team is reporting some slowness after this migration. Okay, so everything looks good, nothing wrong, but in the background, the main root cause, power plan not set to the high performance. You did the you have tuned the query and you have optimized the query and you checked all the things. CPU usage is normal in all the case. You can't able to find anything from the SQL Server, but the underlying problem is this power plan. It plays very critical role to execute the queries very fast. So always for all the SQL servers, it is recommended to set the power plan mode as high performance. So what is Test-DbaPowerPlan? So as I said, it is a DBATOOls command to validate the Windows PowerPlan settings. So what it will do is, it will check the SQL Server best practice for compliance, and it will identify the performance risk instantly, and it is a completely read-only, and it is really safe for the production use. It will not impact anything. It is a validation, purely validation command. So the syntax is test-dbaPowerPlan and -computer name, as we need to pass the parameter, and the server name. So we'll execute this command and we'll see. Now I'm in one of the server. So here what I'll do is, here, so I'm running a command test-dba. So as I mentioned earlier, so you no need to type the complete command. Just type half of the command and hit tab. Automatically it will complete the command. Okay. Here what else? So if you directly execute this simple single command like test-dba-powerplan, when you hit enter, it will ask for the parameter. Okay, so we need to pass the computer name. Okay, so computer name, you can pass it computer name, and my machine name is SQL01. So what it returns here is, it returns the computer name and the active power plan and the recommended power plan, and whether is best practice or not for the SQL server. So currently it returns which is true, which means that currently this server is configured with high performance. Then there is no it is not in the non-compliance, it is in the compliance. But as I mentioned earlier, so we have to take care of this power plan settings. It is our responsibility to check to improve the performance. As I mentioned earlier, so after the migration, CPU is normal and you couldn't find anything in the SQL side, and the task manager is also usage is very normal, but still application team is reporting some slowness because so something is missing in the background. So this is also one of the troubleshooting command you need to verify from the backend. So the junior and mid-level DBAs may miss to check this part, but as a senior DBA, so we need to identify whether we set the proper power plan or not. Okay, so what I'll do is, so for example, so if you are not passing any command, okay, Test-DbaPowerPlan, I will simply execute. What it will do is, so if you are not passing any parameters, so what it will do is, it will ask for the parameter. So you need to provide the server name SQL01. I am passing it here. So it will ask, for example, if you want to run the same command for multiple servers, whenever you hit enter, it will ask the another computer name. Okay, but if you don't have the other server name, you can just directly hit enter. So it will give the server names which you have provided as a parameter. It will retrieve the details for that particular server. Okay, or else what you can do is, you can also execute Test-DbaPowerPlan. Okay, so here instead of a computer name, you can pass SQL01, SQL02. Like this you can pass multiple parameters. You no need to mention hyphen computer name. You can also pass it, you can also pass computer name like SQL01, SQL02. Like this you can also pass it, or else you can also pass like Test-DbaPowerPlan SQL01, SQL02, SQL03. So what this will do is, it will connect to the each and every SQL the server VM, and it will retrieve the power plan mode details for multiple servers from a single machine. Okay, so now currently we are getting the result of whether it is best practice or not. What I will do is, I'll just change the power plan settings. What it is returning, we'll see here. So it is under power plan, edit power plan, so power options. So what I will do is, I am setting as balanced mode. So again I'll hit SQL01. Now if you see the result, so for the SQL server instance, okay, so it is returning the current plan is balanced mode, and the recommended for this SQL server instance server is high performance. So whether it is best practice, no, it is false. So we have to change it to high performance mode. How to set this into power plan mode, we'll see in the next session. So in this session we are only talking about how Test-DbaPowerPlan works, and how we can execute for multiple servers, and what it is returning, and how to understand the output. This is our main concept of this session. So how to change this into how to change the power plan setting into high performance mode, we'll see in the another session. So this is how you can get the information by using Test-DbaPowerPlan. But so you are running the script, this is fine, but if you want to showcase for multiple servers in a HTML format, we need to write the other commands. You can, this information is fine, but so in more advanced way, if you want to present into your senior team members, then it is good to have a proper HTML format script. Okay, so I have prepared that. I will share you under the resources section as well, no problem. And then what we need to discuss is, what this command will do is, it will connect to the target SQL server, and it will read the active Windows power plan and it compares against the high performance mode and it returns either true or false under the is best practice. So the main thing is, for every command we need to understand the output. So if it returns high performance, which means it is good. If it is a balanced mode, then it will be meaning as fail or false. If it is power saver, then it is also a false best practice. Okay, so it is clearly indicating that there is a CPU throttling at risk for this particular server. So as I showed you earlier, if you want to check the multiple server, you can pass test-DbaPowerPlan computer name and you can pass the multiple servers. So why we need to check the multiple servers? Because we are not sure on which server it is configured properly, which server it is still in non-compliance. So it is recommended to run across the systems to understand which servers are configured properly. Because manual checking is very slow and it takes lot of time. Sometimes we may miss to capture the information. But this script will connect to each and every server and generate a simple report, simple information in a single server. So this is very ideal for audits and health checks. So what this DBATools will enable the fast standardization. So when we need to run this Test-DbaPowerPlan, so as I mentioned earlier, so after the new SQL Server installation and whenever we completed the migration or hardware migration or a software migration, and so usually as a DBA we will get the performance related issues, right? During the performance troubleshooting also you need to check this power plant settings, and if the server is not in production, before going into the production we need to check this one as well. So here this command is safe or not. So it will not affect anything, it does not change any settings on the server and it will not restart any SQL services and it will not impact on any workloads. It is just purely a validation command. What to do if results is fail? As I mentioned, results is fail means whether if the is best practice is false means it is failed, right? So we need to engage with systems team or infra team or Windows team. So we need to ask for change the power plan to high performance. So if you want to change this high performance mode, you don't need to restart the SQL server, no need to restart the entire VM as well. Once the power plan is changed, just retest whether it is updated or not and document the configuration change information in Confluence or any documentation wherever you are maintaining the information, just update for audit purpose. So why this is a DBA quick win means it will take seconds to execute to retrieve the information and it delivers the immediate performance. And usually, as I mentioned, we often miss this configuration in the real production system. So if you are if you want to proactive DBA, so obviously the DBA will think of it as part of troubleshooting. So in this session we talked about Windows Power Plan, how it is affect the SQL Server performance and the CPU throttling causes the hidden issues, and Test-DbaPowerPlan, how it is detecting problems very quickly. We discussed everything and the strong foundations will be preventing this firefighting. So I will show you one more interesting part. So here I am connecting to the server. I have built a powerful script to capture the information. Okay, so now I will show you here. So I open this. So this is the report, this is the script which I have created here. So what you need to do is here you need to pass the server names. You can pass the multiple servers names and where you want to store the HTML report, and you can mention your company logo and you can mention your company name, and once the report is generated you can send an email and you can mention your SMTP details. Here I am providing three options: anonymous, with password and none. If we keep as a none, the email will not be delivered. The report only will be generated. So if you are using anonymous, so it will connect to the server with anonymous email authentication and it will send an email. So if you are using a secure SMTP, then you need to use this password. So here I am silently bypassing the execution policy to run the script, because most of the servers they'll restrict the PowerShell scripts. So I am bypassing this script to execute, and I'm just executing this script. So if you can see here, it will generate a beautiful script like this, beautiful report. Now this server is in non-compliance because this server is in balanced mode. That's why it is comes under dark compliance. We need to make the changes into compliance. We need to change the recommended one. So if you are passing multiple servers from the servers.txt file, you will get the all the reports in a single report. This report will really helpful to you, and if you want to filter out the data, you can filter the data. Okay, so dark compliance, and if there is any errors, you can see it here. If there are multiple servers, you can filter the server name also here. This is how we can generate. If you want this report, you can directly subscribe the register the course, so you will get this kind of powerful reports. As I mentioned, 100 scripts you will get it. In the next session we'll talk about set DBA power plan, how to change the DBA power plan setting into the server.